Council Member.
Tim Berry, City Council Member.
Bud Buchanan, Police Chief.
Rick Lance, Director of Public Works and Utilities.
David Westfall, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Chad Russell, Fire Chief.
Matt Kane, Finance Director.
JT Klaus, City Attorney.
Dana Engstrom, City Clerk.
Les Mangus, Director, Community Development.
Jolene Graham, Assistant City Administrator.
Jennifer McCausland, City Administrator.
All right. At this time, Rick Newbauer, lead police and fire chaplain, is going to lead us in prayer. How you doing, sir?
Good, sir. Thank you. Let's pray. Well, Heavenly Father, we humbly come before you tonight. We're thankful and blessed to be able to come together tonight to the city that we live in and love, and that we can be a part of the things that are taking place here through our city council meetings and expressing our voices. We're thankful for the blessing of being able to do that. Pray that you would watch over, again, our fire and police, emergency services, as they continue to keep us safe. We thank you for our city administrators and the city council, who we ask that you would give them wisdom and discernment in making the decisions that need to be made. And mostly we're grateful for being able to live in a city that is doing the things they're doing. We have all the opportunities that we can be blessed with. School starting, other activities going on. Just a great time of the year. So watch over us, keep us in all that we say and do. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
And if you would stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this time I'll open the floor for a public forum. You have something you'd like to say, state your name, address, and keep it short, please. No takers? Public forum is now closed. Acceptance of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Dana. Thank you. All right, 7, looky here. Awards, Public Works and Utilities Employee of the Year, and Rick's going to talk to us about that.
Austin, if you go ahead and come up here. So we were going to do this in May, but this year the ball season was seasons were kind of modified, and Austin had people playing ball games that we were technically hosting in multiple locations and even cities. So we had to push it back and keep pushing it back. But here we are. We're finally to the point where we can actually get to give them this award and honor. So, Mr. Mayor and Council, just would like to start with it's a privilege of mine and an honor, really, to be able to give this award to Austin and celebrate his exceptional contributions to the city of Andover and our community. Austin Yance is your Assistant Recreation Manager and he is getting awarded the Public Works Employee of the Year. Austin's journey has been marked with dedication, innovation, and unwavering commitment to excellence. In the past, he's battled through obstacles such as COVID while trying to continue to offer recreation services at an exceptional level to the best of his ability with the resources that he had at his disposal. This year, his outstanding performance and resilience have truly set him apart, especially in the face of significant challenges. As many of you are aware, a major part of our fields had to be removed from playability due to extensive reconstruction. This presented a monumental challenge to our organization, one that could have easily resulted in loss of an entire season. However, Austin's remarkable ability to adapt under stress turned into potential crisis into a testament of his resourcefulness and teamwork. In nominating Austin for this award, Chastity Page wrote, "Austin has overcome what would most call a logistical nightmare due to the overhaul of 13th Street Sports Park for the past 2 ball seasons. He has had to work with neighboring communities to coordinate the usage of their ball fields to schedule games. Austin immediately took the initiative to find alternative sites, ensuring that our teams could continue to their activities without interruption. He didn't just stop identifying these new locations. He worked tirelessly to build strong relationships with other communities. Negotiating terms and coordinating schedules, his efforts ensured that our athletes had the facilities they needed, even while our own were being built. Additionally, Austin had to continue to improve the quality of our umpires, has continued to improve the quality of our umpires during a time when, well, quite frankly, there's a lot of shortages out there for umpires. We probably have all seen the news articles and everything else and know why that is. But he's done a really good job of recruiting and retaining quality umpires. And so his efforts not just maintain the quality of officiating in our programs, but has also increased it, setting the program apart from many others in the area. In a time when unpleasant events between parents and fans are all too common, we have managed to avoid these issues largely thanks to Austin's hard work in finding and retaining quality officials and operating well-run recreation programs. This has led to a well-run programs that are respected and admired in our community and by our peer communities around, I would say too. Chastity also summed up one of Austin's greatest skills with the following comment. Austin has shown great ability to pivot when necessary and has done a tremendous job continuing to build our program for our community. Austin's approach was characterized by clear communication, strategic thinking, and unyielding commitment to our mission. He kept everyone informed and motivated, transforming what could have been a period of uncertainty into a collaboration of growth. His ability to adapt and innovate under pressure not only preserved our season, but also strengthened our community ties, setting a new standard on how we navigate challenges. His dedication to improving the quality of our officials has ensured our programs run smoothly and safely, providing a positive experience for everyone involved. All this while also expanding our offering in the recreation program, such as disc golf, golf tournaments, the growing number of participants in both volleyball and basketball. Austin, your extraordinary efforts have not gone unnoticed. You have shown what it means to rise above adversity and to find solutions where others see obstacles, and to bring people together for a common goal. Your leadership and dedication have made a lasting impact on our organization, and for that, we are truly grateful. It's with great pride and admiration that we present you with this Employee of the Year award.
Austin, would you like to say a few words? Sure. All right. I appreciate you, young man. Okay. Consent agenda. 8.1 through 8.6.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve consent agenda items 8.1 through 8.6 as presented.
Second, Hamilton.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 9.1 zoning, 9 Green Meadow Properties Addition Zoning District Amendment. Green Meadow Properties Addition Z-A24-0001. And I have a checklist. I will go through. This is an application to change the zoning district classification from the A1 agricultural transition district to the SF1 single family residential low density district on a property generally located at 1904 East Central Avenue, Andover, Kansas. Before we proceed with the hearing, I'll ask the council if any of them intend to disqualify themselves from participating in this case because they have conflict of interest.
No.
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 I will now ask the council if any of them have received any ex parte verbal or written communication prior to this agenda item, which they would like to share.
No.
No.
No. Has the city clerk received any protest petitions on the case?
No, sir.
I now ask council members if they have all received copies of the draft minutes of the Planning Commission for June 26, 2024, which summarizes the hearing in this case.
Yes.
I now call on the city zoning administrator, Les Mangus, to provide us with a report on this case.
David's actually going to talk to you about
Oh, I'm
this
sorry.
item. He's going to take the full set there of agenda items on Green Meadow.
All
Sorry
right, Mr.
about that,
Mayor,
sir.
council members, thank you. So yeah, as you mentioned, this is for the zoning amendment classification for 1904 East Central Avenue. The applicant wishes to amend this parcel to be zoned for SF1 to develop it for a single-family home for their father. The applicant has been very diligent, conferring with the staff as well as Andover Fire and Rescue entities to ensure it can be effectively integrated into the community. It's also consistent with the comprehensive plan by fitting the place type of the traditional neighborhood that's depicted. It's currently served by Evergy, Andover Sewer Service, and Rural Water District Number 5. The staff has reviewed all of the application materials, and we have no objection to the zoning district classification request. And as you stated, the Planning Commission did in fact approve this zoning district change at their June 26 meeting. If you have any further questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions? No? Have any written communications been received to the city clerk?
No, sir.
Does the applicant wish to present any new information? No. We would like to welcome everyone interested in this agenda item to come to the podium and give your name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. The governing body has been provided the draft minutes from the video of the public hearing has been made available. So please limit your comments to information not previously shared at the public hearing held on June 26, 2024. Does anyone from the public have any new information? No. And so does the applicant have any further response to the public comments? There weren't any. Assuming the council has received all the information they need on this case, do you wish to, darn it. You have received an outline of the choices provided under the state statutes for council action KSA 12-757C. Council, how do you wish to act?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt the findings of fact and recommendations of Planning Commission to approve zoning KZ 824001, changing the zoning district classification of the subject property from the existing Butler Rural Zoning Ag District 40 to SF-1, Single Family Residential Low Density District.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Persons aggrieved by this final decision of the council on this matter have 30 days after today's action within which to appeal to the district court. All right. Nine-two plat, Green Meadow Properties Addition. And again, David will talk to us about this.
So yes, this is the aforementioned property, pretty straightforward plat. Here you can see it would just be the southwestern portion of the applicant's land. It would be that approximately 1 acre plat that they would be submitting for this final plat. Again, this would be used for just a single family home. Staff has no issues with any of these submittal materials and would recommend approval.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the dedications of the Green Meadow Properties final plat.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 9-3. Is that right?
Yes.
Selection of electrical provider for Green Meadow property, and Les will speak to us about this.
I'll be taking this one as well, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry. David?
Sure. So on June 11th of this year, the governing body adopted the ordinance to annex the property and set a date of July 30th to choose an electric service provider. This item would be addressing that. Evidence has been provided that Evergy, the current provider, would be the best selection for that, and would recommend the attached resolution.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I guess just one question. The resident wants Evergy as well, correct?
That's correct.
I move to adopt the resolution declaring Evergy the electrical provider for the property known as the Green Meadow Addition.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 150, I hate this name. 159 irrigation repairs. 159th Street irrigation repairs. And Les is going to talk to us about the
Take this one. Thanks, Mr. Mayor and
gift that
Council.
keeps giving.
You may remember that our charge in the past has been to repair irrigation systems that we damage with our arterial road projects. And these are private improvements that are in the public right of way to maintain the landscape. 159th Street, of course, is by far the biggest project with conflicts that I've had in my career, with 7 different HOAs to deal with. The Green Valley subdivision has about a quarter of a mile of road frontage there that was all irrigated and landscaped. As you can see in some of the photos that were attached to this case, the installation of storm sewer, the grading, the pavement, the removal of trees didn't leave them with much of a system to repair. And from the evidence of the quote, it reflects that over $50,000 in damages to restore their system. We recommend that you approve the reimbursement to the Green Valley 3rd and 5th HOAs for the repair replacement of their irrigation system.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Les, how does it work? That was going to be my question. You said 3rd and 5th. Do we have to worry about which one we pay for which?
We don't. They actually share the system.
Okay. And then as far as, I think there was an email about Elm Street after the construction, there was a patch or seam that needed to be done.
There's a big old crack.
Big old crack.
Seam.
So then we repaired that one. Then there was another crack where that, that part met, and I drove by tonight. That looks like it's repaired. What is there any guarantee or warranty from the construction folks for a year, say, after construction?
There is a year warranty on the work.
So we essentially just call them, they come out and repair that stuff.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, the first complaint we got from the HOA, the contractor was already out on the job working on it when I got the complaint. And this latest, I forwarded right along to Pearson Construction, and they will respond.
And Les, this is normal for us if we do road improvements to pay for private sprinklers.
This is the direction that we've been given for over 20 years. We ask our citizens to take pride in their lawns, and in some cases, we even require it with site plan review. And the directive from the governing body was to make those repairs.
I just don't want to set a precedent tonight, but I mean, if we've been doing it for a while,
No, it's
I think we
over 20
should.
years.
But
Yeah,
that's
we've
just-
set the precedent for a long time, so I think it's a good thing, especially since they're most of the time the ones cutting the grass and making it grow and making it look nice for the city.
This is on the west side of 159th.
This is the
East
east side of 159th, essentially from Elm Street to Lakeside Drive.
Les, when we do have big projects like this, don't we set aside kind of a pot of money for repairs of this nature
do.
after the fact each time?
We do.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the reimbursement of the irrigation system repairs for the course at Green Valley Greens, third edition, in the amount not to exceed 53,000.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Les, just real quick on that last item. If, would those repairs have been made if the HOA hadn't made us aware of them? Would we have gone out and done like, when you build a building, like a checklist or whatever, would we have known had the HOA not come to us and said, there's a repair needed?
We wouldn't know until they told us that their system didn't work.
Okay.
To be clear, there was several incidences with residents that had damage done, and we made it right with all of them to the extent that we could. So,
It happened north of Central too, right? On that project as well.
Yes.
all right. 11, temporary use 1600 West Highway 54, Pumpkin Patch 2024. 11-1, same thing. So Les will speak about this tonight.
Mr. Mayor, Council, you remember back on June 11th, you took up this temporary use application for the annual pumpkin patch there at the Marietta property, and you continued that decision to tonight's meeting. Since that time, they've hosted their annual 4th of July fireworks sales there. Shortly after the fireworks sales was over, they brought in crews. They cleaned off all of the structures, temporary and permanent, that had kind of become remnants of past temporary uses. Today, we're happy to see that they've cleared the site off. All the buildings are gone. The only thing that is left out there is the fencing that did have a permit from many years ago.
Mr. Mayor.
And Mr. Marietta would have been here tonight, but he's in Colorado with his family. So, but he come and talked to me, but in fact, they were out there the very next morning to crack of dawn, 9 o'clock, crack of dawn for me. So they've been at it, so.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
I appreciate them cleaning up. I think they even, at the June 14th meeting or whatever, there was some concerns that they weren't going to be able to move the carousel building, but it looks like that's all gone as well. So really appreciate them working with staff on that as well. So I move to approve the temporary use of the property located at 1600 West US 54-400 for a pumpkin patch from September 18th through November 3rd, 2024. Condition that all structures be removed from the subject property no more than 14 days after the pumpkin patch event to return to the subject property to its undeveloped state.
Second, Hamilton.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Prairie Creek 7th Edition 12-1 petitions requesting reallocation of special assessments. Prairie Creek 7th. And Jolene is going to speak with us.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor and council members. The costs related to the previous improvements to East 13th Street, North Prairie Creek Road, sanitary sewer, and stormwater improvements were assessed to the property now known as Prairie Creek Addition 7th Phase. Since the property has been subdivided into lots, the plat was at your last meeting on July 9th. The owner is requesting that the costs previously assessed are reallocated to each lot. The first step in this process is the owner must petition the city to reallocate the previous assessments levied. That is this item. The next 3 items on tonight's agenda will ask for consideration of amending ordinances that will actually authorize the reallocation in the manner set forth. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to accept the petitions requesting the reallocation of special assessments levied by ordinance number 1544, ordinance number 1780, and ordinance number 1897.
Second, Hamilton.
Any further questions or discussion?
I do have one quick question, Jolene. So basically we assessed specials for one big lot. Now we're just taking the specials and breaking them up into each individual lot, correct?
That is correct. So, very good.
Okay, just need to dumb it down, sorry.
All right, any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The motion carries 5-0.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt an ordinance amending ordinance number 1544.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 12-3.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt an ordinance amending ordinance number 1780.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 12-4.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt an ordinance amending ordinance number 1897.
Second, Barry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. I got them all, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
13, vacation, 428 East Willowbrook Street, Z-VA 24-0001. And Les will talk to us about this.
Mr. Mayor and Council, during the development of the heritage residential and mixed-use projects, the addition of Shea Road and its alignment created a little bit of a realignment for Sunset Drive, an existing platted street, as it approached Willowbrook Street. The end result being a rather odd-shaped right-of-way in the area. The owner of the property adjacent to the west approached the city if we would consider giving up some of that unused right-of-way, since it was adjacent to his existing property. It's part of his yard and he does maintain it. We see no reason not to give up that unused right-of-way, and we're happy that he's willing to take it and maintain it. Your action tonight would be to open a public hearing to consider this vacation and then take up that consideration of a order to vacate a portion of the right-of-way.
Right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to approve the vacation of a portion of the Sunset Drive right-of-way in Willowbrook, second edition. Oh,
I got a checklist.
You'll need to open the public hearing
Okay,
before
sorry.
you can take
So-
up the
All right.
order.
So we'll open a public hearing for vacation of 428 East Willowbrook Street. Gosh darn it, Street VA 24-0001, correct? Now we move on.
if anyone, no one seems to be coming.
Close the public hearing.
Close the public hearing.
Okay. At this time, we'll close the public hearing for the 428 East Willowbrook Street, Z-VA 24-0001. All right, onward and upward. All right, 14.
No, we need to vote
Oh,
can
vote,
vote
I'm
on-
sorry.
on 13.
So Homer voted, let's just start, okay.
You want me to start over?
Yes, please.
I move to approve the vacation of a portion of the Sunset Drive right-of-way in the Willowbrook second edition.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 14-1 PUD Amendment Cornerstone Plan Unit Development Z-PUD 24-0003. This application to amend the Cornerstone Plan Unit Development Plan generally located at 600 block of West 21st Street, Andover, Kansas. Before we proceed with the hearing, I'll ask council if any of them intend to disqualify themselves from participating in this case because they have a conflict of interest.
No.
No.
I will now ask council if any of them have received any ex parte verbal or written communication prior to this agenda item which they would like to share.
No.
No. Has the city clerk received any protest petition on the case?
No, sir.
I now ask council members if they have received copies of the draft minutes of the Planning Commission for June 26, 2024, which summarizes the hearing on this case.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I now call on City Zoning Administrator Les Mangus to provide us with a report on this case.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this amendment has to do with just two very small parcels in the Cornerstone Plan Unit development. You may remember that Cornerstone is a 505 acre mixed planned unit development that has not only residential uses, but a lot of commercial uses that dates back 25 years this year. This is one of the few parcels that's left undeveloped, and the developer is asking tonight to add some multifamily uses to the business uses to be comparable with the zoning parcels within Cornerstone that are by and adjacent. It's in an area that's in a bit of a transition. It has to the south across 21st Street has some assisted living, nursing home uses. To the west, it has a medical office complex. To the east, high-density residential, and to the north, typical single-family residences. Your Planning Commission held the public hearings required on this case and recommended that you approve the change.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is the owner rep here? No. Do you have a concept of what you'd like to, could you share anything?
Good evening, Phil Meyer with Boffman Company, agent for the applicant. I do not have a concept. When we started this project, he had a contract on that ground for an apartment developer that wanted to do some apartments on there. Since that time, we had a little problem in the original filing of the case, cost us an extra 30 days. That contract is no longer in play. Although I think if we get the zoning done, that they would come back and do another one. But we started this based on somebody looking to an apartment complex there. They never shared a site plan with the applicant who's the landowner. So I don't have anything I can show you.
Okay. So it wouldn't be like a commercial business with residential mixed in?
Today, that's not the intent. Could that happen? It could with the way we have this PUD put together. So this had commercial uses before. We want to keep those because we don't know what the end use is going to be here. We're just looking for options. I do know that the developer has approvals that go with anything that gets developed, site plan and what's going to be built there, and has been at that project for 20 some odd years and want to make sure they finish it as strong as they started it. So.
Okay. All right.
That help?
Okay. Yes, thank you.
Anyone else?
Les, yeah, sure, Mr. Mayor. Les, on the two different areas there, I guess I assume they wouldn't put the apartment or whatever on the east side, just because I live up in that area, so I feel like that's a small area. They wouldn't do anything with that road then, right? I mean, that road wouldn't like turn into a dead end or anything like that. Cornerstone Parkway, I guess.
Cornerstone Parkway and the reserves adjacent on both the east and west were actually a part of the first residential subdivision in Cornerstone. So they're platted. They don't belong to this owner anymore. The reserves actually belong to the residential HOA, and they do have access control. So any access to these two parcels would come from 21st Street. And there are provisions in the preliminary planned unit development that allow for access direct to 21st Street.
Okay.
Anyone else? Have any written communication been received by the city clerk?
No, sir.
We would like to welcome everyone interested in this agenda item to come to the podium and give your name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. The governing body has been provided the draft minutes and the video of the public hearing has been made available. So please limit your comments to information not previously shared. At the public hearing held on June 26, 2024, does anyone from the public have any new information? No. Does the applicant have any further response to public comments? There weren't any. Assuming the city council has received all the information they need on this case, you have received an outline of choices provided under the state statutes for council action, KSA 12-757C. How do you wish to act? Anyone?
I get there.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the findings of fact and recommendation of the Planning Commission to approve zoning case Z 2024-0003, amending the Cornerstone Planned Unit Development Plan.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Persons aggrieved by the final decision of the council on this matter have 30 days after today's action within which to appeal to the district court. All right. Prairie Point at Cornerstone Third, 15-1, Prairie Point at Cornerstone Third revised stormwater petition developers agreement and amending resolution of advisability. And Jolene will again speak with us about this.
Mayor and council members, on January 30th, 2024, you accepted petitions, approved the developers agreement, and adopted a resolution of advisability for Prairie Point at Cornerstone Third for paving, sanitary sewer, stormwater, and water improvements. Then you reconsidered the petitions on your February 27th meeting due to the low bids for water and sanitary sewer improvements coming above the petition amount. And tonight, unfortunately, the stormwater improvements bid also exceeded the petitions. So before you tonight is a revised petition for stormwater for your consideration.
Shall we wait for Councilmember Henry to get back in the room? No?
You can vote without him as long as you have
Alright.
quorum.
Can I get a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I
Yep.
move we accept the revised petitions for sanitary sewer improvements, approve the revised developers agreement, and adopt amending resolution of advisability related to Prairie Point at Cornerstone Third.
Second, Hamilton.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 4-0. 15-2, Prairie Point at Cornerstone Third amended work ordinance. And Jolene again will speak to us on this.
Related to your previous item is this work order that you need to consider that authorizes the actual construction of the improvements. This is an amended work ordinance that revises the one approved at your May 14th meeting.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt amending ordinance authorizing the construction of certain internal improvements related to the Prairie Point at Cornerstone Third Edition.
Second. Henry.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 15-3 bid award Prairie Point Third at Cornerstone, and Rick, I think, will talk to us about that.
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, now that we've gotten those previous items out of the way, you are cleared to be able to award this project to the low bidder, which was Pearson and Construction, in the amount of $375,735. As previously established, the storm sewer was over petitioned, but you've now passed new petition limits, so that gets it back in with the petition limits, and the paving was within petition limits. And I would like to also mention this is 100% special assessed to the lots on there, so the future property owners or lot owners will be paying 100% of the specials on this job.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Rick, why such a huge difference between what the what the engineer estimated and what everybody's bidding?
Well, we had some discussion at the time of the bid award at that with the engineer, and there was a couple items that were pretty high from what they had anticipated. And some of that was speculation that the material jumped on that particular piece. The cost with material jumped. We kind of work in a little bit of a weird environment right now where we're seeing, for some reasons, just all of a sudden a particular material cost jump really high. It has to do probably with supply and demand at the time. And we're still seeing some of that, and it's not as much as it used to be. But that was part of the suspicion. And then we had some deeper crossings, road crossings, and they felt like that was higher than what they anticipated it would be.
I mean, it looks like, excavation was definitely, almost three times as high. So
yeah, the digging part, the excavation part was one of the things they talked about. That was just higher than they anticipated. I don't really know why they missed it that much, but they did. When they build these estimates, obviously they build the estimates prior to doing the design. So when you do the design, sometimes you realize you're a little deeper, but then they try to keep their estimate at the time of the bid to within that petition limit. So sometimes I feel like they would like to raise it, but they don't want to bring a estimate higher than the petition to the bid.
So if we look back on any of these others that Pearson's done, $9, I'm assuming a cubic yard is that average or?
Well, I mean, it's going to vary because they'll shift their bids a little bit based on, where they're loading their money on the project too. If it's a small quantity of things, sometimes they don't really worry too much about it. And if there's a large quantity of things, and sometimes just raising that dollar can have a big effect on them. At the end of the day, the bid's a tied bid. So it's total low bid is total low bid. And where they load their units at can vary from time to time, where they decide to load their profit.
Okay. Thanks, Rick.
Mhm.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move we accept the lowest qualified bid from Pearson Construction, Wichita, Kansas, in the not to exceed amount of $375,735 and reject all other bids and authorize the mayor to sign the contract for street improvements to serve Prairie Point Third at Cornerstone.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. All right, 16, vote to set public hearing date for R&R and 2025 annual budget. Resolution to exceed R&R and set, I already said that, didn't I? Revenue neutral rate for those watching on TV, as that's what that's about. And Matt's going to talk to us.
I sure am. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm going to start with a statement. This is probably a matter of opinion, but I'd like to welcome you to item 16, the most exciting item on the agenda this evening. The first item is as the mayor said, the resolution to set the date for the public hearing for the revenue neutral rate. For those that are not familiar, the revenue neutral rate is the rate provided to us by the county that would cause us to collect the same amount in property tax dollars that we did for the prior year. For 2025, our revenue neutral rate was calculated at 39.504 mils. The city does intend to exceed the revenue neutral rate by 3.477 mils, which is flat with the rate that was levied in, or is being levied in 2024. So the public hearing for that will be on August 27th, 2024, here in this very room at 7 p.m.
And we need to vote for that, right?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adopt resolution setting a public hearing regarding the city of Andover's intention to levy a property tax exceeding the revenue neutral rate for Tuesday, August 27th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time at 1609 East Central Avenue, Andover, Kansas, to hear testimony from all interested part taxpayers desiring to be heard as required by state law.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 16.2, notice of public hearing for 2025 annual budget, and Matt will again speak to us on this matter.
Welcome back. It is primarily the same information for this. This is you approving the actual notice that we will publish in the Butler Times Gazette, notifying the public of the date and time of that public hearing. It also notifies them the date and time of the annual budget public hearing. We will do both those hearings on the same night, and then following those hearings, we will vote on a resolution to exceed the revenue neutral rate, and then at the following meeting in September is when we will vote to adopt the 2025 budget.
Mr. Mayor, I move
Yes,
to
sir.
approve notice setting the public hearing for the 2025 City of Andover budget for Tuesday, August 27th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Andover City Hall and publishing the mill levy rate at 42.981 mils.
Second.
Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 17.1, replacement of crack filler machine, and Rick will talk to us about that.
Mr. Mayor and Councils, some of you may recall from the workshop, and one of the CIP items that we had on for the 25 budget was a crack filler machine. We've been having fits with it, and it's down again, and it's going to be a while before we can get it fixed. We're getting into the time frame where we really need to be out crack filling. And so we looked into just renting a machine, one that we felt would, for a month, if we could get going and get a good amount of crack filling done. As I wrote in my memo on this, crack filling is probably the most, no, it's not is, it is the most efficient method of preventive maintenance for an asphalt roadway. And we want to make sure we get as much of that done as we can during the time that's open to us. So when we went to look at renting the machine, we also discovered that they actually had the machine like we would like to buy in the Wichita area. They said they would hold it until this meeting where we could request authorization to purchase. We are asking to sole source this using a sole source well pricing. This is in compliance with our purchasing policy that the city recently updated, but it was in compliance prior to that too. And we would, at this point, we just take that item out of the 25 budget. It won't affect your mill levies or anything like that because this is bought out of the special highway fund, so not out of the general fund. But we just take that out of that. No sense in having it in there. I think there's time to get that amended. If approved tonight, we would like to go ahead and purchase this. They said they can deliver in a couple of days, and we could get out to doing some crack filling instead of spending the money to rent a machine. It's kind of throwing it away because we're going to end up buying one the very next year. Stand for any questions if anyone has any.
Mr. Mayor, I have one question. Hey, Rick, how do we get to the point where we don't have to worry about our machines, dying or on their last leg? Are we heading to that direction?
We are. This machine is not that old. It was purchased in 2018, I believe.
Okay.
But we did a low bid purchase. And, Craftco kind of makes the standard, and it's been a machine that you're probably used to seeing out and such. I'm not going to name the other vendor, but we bought this machine. It was a low bid and it's kind of cost us fits. And so it's been in our 5-year plan probably ever since it was 3 years old to replace so it's one we identified as being a problem machine, unfortunately, way ahead of when it should be.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
So these machines, they're pretty, they require a lot of, they're not easy to clean up and maintain, are they?
Well, as you can imagine,
Product that's in it, right?
Yeah, they melt down a tar substance that goes into the crack, and it's by nature not a very clean environment.
Right.
Yes, and so it takes some work. That's not been the issue here. It's just been this machine just has a hard time staying operational. Let's put it this way.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Mike.
What will you do with the old machine?
We will get it operational and we will purple wave it. And that money will go into the street equipment reserve fund.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Rick, I saw in your memo that there's only two companies that make this.
Yeah, really, there's basically two companies that make
So
it.
one was the low bid company, and then one is the one that you like company.
The one that we've used, the previous machine before this one we had for many years. The other places I've worked had them. It's just kind of been the one that generally is kind of the standard. And so we wanted to go back to that one. We've had a lot of good luck with that one and wanted to return to that one.
And by all means, I want us to stay efficient and have good roads. And I think this helps us just all the way down the line. But what does a city do that doesn't have the option to purchase these two machines? Does that mean staff then has to go out and fill the cracks manually? I mean, what does a city do if they don't have a crack filler?
There are companies that you can hire to do that. There's contractors that will do it. Even Sedgwick County will contract out sometimes because they got so many miles to do and they don't have enough staff to do and such. But we tend to try to do that in-house because it is way more cost efficient.
To do it that way than paying somebody to do. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to authorize the purchase of the crack filler machine from Craftco Inc., Chandler, Arizona, in the amount of $65,688.40. Is that correct?
Second. Oh. I think you're missing a period on the memo. Is that
My
correct?
apologies.
Yeah, so it's $65,688.40.
Correct.
Thank you.
Second.
Any further questions? And Homer seconded that. So any further questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. 18 member items, and we'll start with Paul down here.
I don't have anything, Mr. Mayor.
Mike?
I'll just say USA, let's go for the gold.
I'm telling you. I don't have anything, Homer.
I don't. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
So I was able to go do a ride along last week with Officer Garland. Really good experience. He was a very clear example of the high expectations that we have on our police department. Super professional. Half the time he was multitasking while he was talking to me, and I didn't even know that he was doing 7 different things at the same time while he was talking to me. And I was really impressed with how he went about discharging his duties and the professional manner that he handled the interactions that we had during our 2.5 hours together last week. So that's all I got.
Cool. I do have a couple. I was contacted by the Gridiron when they're doing their, Rick, I guess this will be for you, the Gridiron football pep assembly. They're really concerned about the 15% for their vendors that come in, for free will. Is there anything we can do to waive the 15%
I would
charge?
probably point you to last night's workshop discussion about that one. ASM is managing the venue. Now, last I knew, they were talking to them about working with them on that, and I thought they had reached a conclusion.
Okay.
So ASM should be the one that handles that request. And then if there's a problem and they're not getting the response they need, then certainly we can intervene. But my understanding was they reached an agreement.
Okay, perfect. They talked to me over the weekend, so I was just kind of curious. So.
That's more recent than I had heard, so I will look into that tomorrow.
Please. Trees, I think this is less. The trees along Andover Road, the ones that we put in after we put the sidewalks in, last summer? There's several of them that look like they've been pulled out and not replaced, I don't know if that's Rick or Les. I know that was your project, but I don't know how that works.
I managed the project that installed them.
Okay. So now it's
they've-
Rick.
They're out of their 1-year warranty, so now they're public
Okay.
works maintenance.
So a lot of times when we have dead trees out there, we will pull them and not put them back, especially when it's 105 degrees. Instead of having a dead tree just sitting there looking poor, we'll go ahead and get it out. Or a lot of times we'll just cut it off at the ground, and then when we're ready to replace that tree, we'll then tree spade it out and drop a new tree in.
So those are on the radar. I mean,
They're on the radar, yes. We've had, as you can imagine, a fair amount of trees over the last couple of years ago. And so we're trying to keep up with them, and get them all replaced. I'm not going to tell you, it won't take maybe an extra year for some. We'll see where we get by the time we get to the
because
year.
there's some, York in the median on Yorktown and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They've kind of died and we've taken off. So the lights on the pillars at Central Park, one night they're on, one night they're off. Are we having issues or?
I noticed that the other night when I was leaving, and I haven't had a chance to look into it. I noticed that the letters are lit and the emblem is lit, but I noticed that the other night. So we'll look into it.
Okay, I just know we spent a nice chunk of change on that. It looks very nice. So, and everybody's school's starting here soon, so be prepared. I think I can't remember what's in my my letter to the city in the wastewater, but just remember school zones. When the stop sign's out on the bus, make sure you stop. I know Andover PD is going to be really watching that, and just for the kids' safety. So that's all I have.
One thing to add to that is if it's a divided highway with a median in between, the people on the other side do not have to stop.
We're going to do another social media campaign as well, just to educate. I know school's going to start here around the 14th, 15th, if I'm not mistaken. So about a couple of weeks beforehand, we can kick that out just to start making people aware.
Good. Thank you.
Staff have anything they'd like to share? All right, Homer pointed out to me we should remind everyone that's listening and that the grand opening of the 13th Street Park is tomorrow night. And come on out, and it's 6 o'clock, correct? And we'd love to have as many people as we can out there. It's something that we put a lot of thought into, and the citizens approved it overwhelmingly, and it's just going to be a great thing for our city.
Wear your swimsuit.
It's you don't want me to do that, so.
Yes.
So.
That's really mainly for film.
And sometimes, there's something happened this weekend, and I'm going to be pretty vague about it, but sometimes we forget just how special this community is. And the people, when there's problems in this community and there's somebody who needs a hand, we don't care where you're from, what your walk of life is, what your story is. We really have a fantastic community, and it's just, I just want to refresh people's memory that Andover's special. We take care of people regardless of where they're from and who they are. So I just want to thank the citizens of this town for being who they are.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Here I come, gonna make it for all the next game.
I'm telling you. It's county. So all of these,